Shalom and greetings, everybody. Brother Nicholas James Vander Lane here. Shabbat Shalom to whoever gets this as it's being filmed on the Sabbath day. It is the 11th day of the first month on Elohim's Zadok Priest Enoch Dead Sea Scroll Solar Calendar, March 31st, 2019. Video is being broadcasted from Eilat, Israel, Ezion Geber, Edom. This video is titled "The 364-Day Calendar Does Not Equal the 365-Day Solar Cycle." So my last two videos on this topic, I've identified the 365th day of the solar cycle and explained how it is different than the 364-day calendar year. I take no credit in locating the 365th day of the solar cycle in the book of Job and Enoch. Hallelujah. The Spirit of Truth identified the 365th day of the solar cycle in both the book of Job and Enoch. In my last video, bringing clarity to the confusion of this calendar, I shared the only method to intercalate the calendar to have a full 364-day calendar year every year, and also use the 365th day of the solar cycle, which is the spring equinox, also known as the great sign on the earth, mentioned in Jubilees chapter 2, verse 9, every year to calibrate the calendar. No other method does so. So here are the two to the playlist. This is going to be my third, and then my fourth video will be applying the Zadok priestly cycle to the way that we intercalated the calendar this year, and those results speak for themselves because it confirms it. In my last video, I shared the location of the 365th day in the book of Enoch, in Enoch 72 verse 33. I shared this with YouTube channel Faith Child. I was using the R.H. Charles translation. He ended up sending me a newer translation, which better shows the turn of the year, the 365th day of this cycle, as the day after the 364th day of the calendar year. So again, each 364-day year is distinguished and separated by the 365th day of the solar cycle. The night becomes equal with the day, and the days of the year add up to exactly 364 days. The length of the days and nights, as well as the shortness of the day and night, are determined by the course of the circuit, which is the tekufah, which is the turning of the year of the sun, and distinguished by it. So this distinguishes the years. It's the separator. It is the literal separation that R.H. Charles talked about. Please watch my previous video on this. You can see the footnotes here, the Old Testament Pseudographical Volume 1, edited by James H. Charles Worth. I'll put a link to this PDF of this translation of the book of Enoch. Also, I want to point something out. This is a screenshot from my biblical anniversary spreadsheet, and I want to point out that David's wicked son Absalom, he pulled his head every year at the year's end. The words for year's end is tekufah, or the same word as circuit here in Enoch. And pulling your head on the spring equinox appears to be a pagan practice. You can go ahead and look it up. You'll see a lot of pagan rituals being done on the spring equinox. And again, this is why Job had it removed, because he saw his son celebrating their birthday on and the destruction of paganism, because they died while they were getting drunk celebrating their birthday, and then he cursed the day that he was born, requesting it being removed from the reckoning of the year. And I told you in my video, you should watch this video series, that I believe it was the 365th day of the solar cycle, because that's the day that's not attached to the calendar year. So a lot of people out there are going to say, Nick, no, the calendar, the solar cycle is 364 days only. No. It says the 364-day only calendar. The calendar is only 364 days. You can look at all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places between Enoch and Jubilees where it's exactly 364 days. The year amounts exactly 364 days, exactly 364 days. The year 364 days only. Okay? So if the solar cycle was 364 days like the calendar year, it would be redundant of Elohim to inspire Enoch and Moses, possibly, who I believe wrote Jubilees, to write the calendar is exactly 364 days, or 364 days only. So using exactly and only, it would be redundant. Why would it have to say that? The fact that Enoch and possibly Moses use exactly and only proves the solar cycle and the calendar are not the same length. And that means the solar cycle has to be longer than 364 days because it cannot be shorter. So to summarize this point, nowhere in Enoch or Jubilees it says the solar cycle is 364 days. This is what is messing up many people's calendars. Please watch my previous 2 videos in this series, and again, I'll be in my next video, Yahweh willing I live, I'll be showing you how that the Zadok priestly cycle fits this way of intercalation. So this is an interesting mosaic here. This mosaic is of the Mazzaroth, and it actually shows the 365-day solar cycle. This mosaic was found, a floor mosaic of the Beth Alpha synagogue in Israel in the 5th to 6th century. And Beth Alpha is right outside of Bet Shean, called Samaria, the land of Issachar. What you have here is you have the Mazzaroth, wrongly called the zodiac, but it's the Hebrew Mazzaroth. And these are the signs and the stars on the ecliptic plane. There's 12 of them, and each one represents a 30-day month. Then you have 4 days of the seasons right here represented up here by these, what would probably be angelic beings, more than likely. You could read about that in Enoch, but there's basically 4 royal stars that govern these time periods, I believe. 12 times 30 is 360. Then you add the 4, that's 364, and then you have the 1 day of the sun right here in the middle. So that equals 365 days, representing the solar cycle. In Enoch, the sun is masculinized, and the moon is described as being feminine. The moon right here in this mosaic is small because of its insignificance, I believe. As we know in Jubilees 2:9, the sun is the great sign on the earth for days, Sabbaths, months, years, Sabbath of years, Jubilees, all the seasons of the years. So it's the sun that's the main sign, the great sign on the earth, which is the spring equinox when it casts the shadow on the earth. And then what you see in this picture, the sun is in a chariot, which is being pulled by 4 horses. And these 4 horses represent the 4 winds of the heavens. The sun has a crown. And as you can see in the crown, you have 6 portals, just like in the book of Enoch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's also 7 dividers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For whatever those are, I don't know. And then I don't know the significance of the 2 chariot wheels with the 6 parts down here. I counted the stars, and I don't know really what they are. I haven't spent that much time on this. Okay, but that's just observation. There's a couple of other more floor mosaic Mazzaroths in synagogues. This one is found in Tiberias, Galilee in the 3rd to 4th century. And then this is found in Zaporizhzhia Galilee Synagogue, 5th century CE. There's no masculine depiction of the sun. I haven't researched what the beliefs of the Beth Alpha Synagogue was and the others. If they are trying to masculinize the sun as per Enoch, if this be a pagan perversion of the sun as the pagan god Helios, then we cross this thing out. I imagine at some point it went pagan, and this is the exact reason why Job cursed his birthday and had it removed from the reckoning of the year, because he didn't want the righteous to be tempted to worship the creation cycle. It's just paganism. There's a lot of 365-day calendars. This is an Egyptian calendar, as you can read here from Encyclopedia Britannica, consisted 12 months equal to 360 days plus 5 extra days. Persian Zoroastrian calendar, the Parthian calendar, 12 months of 30 days plus 5 days. Here in Wikipedia, you can do a list of calendars, and you can see all of the calendars, 365-day fixed days, lunisolar, solar, 365 fixed. And you just keep going down, you can research, but they definitely recognize that the solar cycle was 365 days, or else all these ancients wouldn't be having calendars like that. So Yahweh Elohim's calendar is exactly 364 days, but the 364-day calendar is not a complete solar cycle. Solar cycle is 365.242 or whatever it's been measured at. And I share with how to intercalate the day of the spring equinox in my previous video. So please watch that video. Please look out for the next one. And hopefully this is a blessing to you. And I'm signing off. Shalom.